Hi guys, on this show we're looking at Harris, Azera, Piven, Cusack, Aykroyd, Arkin, Driver and Cusack. We're looking at 1997's Grosse Point Blank.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of 100 Things We Learned from Film. I'm one of your hosts, my name's Planty, and I'm gross.
And another guy, I'm John, and I shoot blanks.
Well, look, congratulations.
Thank you. Ties in nicely for the show.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. How are you, John?
I'm good, buddy. I've just had my booster jab, so I am COVID-free.
All right, okay. I thought old people would have got them before I did.
Well, turns out I'm young at heart.
You were about to die of COVID booster, but that's fine. Yes, ladies, gentlemen, listeners, boys, girls, whatever the fuck you are, we don't care. Go out and get your jab, please. That would be very, very good for everybody involved if you could do that. This, of course, is the podcast where we try and learn 100 things from every film that we cover. Johnny boy, what are we covering this week?
So we're looking at 1997's Grosse Point Blank.
Oh, proper favourite of mine, this, you know. It really was.
The music, the style, the John Cusack. It was just it was all good.
It's very well written, I think. The dialogue's extremely well written.
Alan Arkin just not got enough time in it, but he was so good. So good.
Yeah. I'm in this movie somewhere. I'm in the movie somewhere. No, you're not, mate. So long, sucker. You filmed all your scenes over lunch.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, you had time when someone was shooting something else somewhere, and they just got you in and threw you in a cheap suit. Keen to know, John, what could we have been talking about this year instead of this?
Well, if you want to find out the films of 1997, you can go back and listen to Con Air, because we were talking about it back then.
Oh, Con Air. Yeah, Good point. So Con Air was also
John
Cusack, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, okay. Yeah,
busy boy.
Yeah. Shall we begin?
Yes, we shall.
Okay. Fantastic. It opens and it's Hollywood Pictures. When did you last think of Hollywood Pictures, John?
Oh, God.
Yeah, forever ago. R.I.P. those guys. Their first film was released in 1990, and it was Arachnophobia.
Jesus, with Julian Sands.
Julian Sands, yeah. I haven't thought about Arachnophobia in decades. It's one of those that I potentially do have to watch. They made Terminal Velocity, pretty good. Super Mario Brothers, pretty shit.
Pretty bad.
And our personal favourite, Judge Dredd.
The Ugly. Good, bad, the Ugly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Disney company. And they've managed to rename a lot of their films now as a Disney film, which seems a little bit cheeky.
That really is cheeky, isn't it?
This is not one, but this is evidently why we got it on Disney Plus in the UK.
Yeah, true that. Otherwise, we'd have to have sourced it ourselves.
We would have had to. I would have had to source it myself from that shelf behind me, which I'm pretty sure I've got somewhere. It's on. If you want to watch it in the UK, people, it's on Disney Plus section Stars, which I can't put on without thinking Stars.
I know.
Always do Resident Evil Nemesis impression whenever I go on Stars. Stars. And I said, "What are you doing?" It doesn't matter. I can't explain it to you.
I watched the new Raccoon City, and they don't do it. There's no stars, so that sucks.
Fucking get out.
Get in the bin.
Get in the bin. The titles are the fantastic I Can See Clearly by Johnny Nash. Yep. Not to be confused, of course, with Johnny Cash. One's the man in black and the other guy is black. So
there you go.
Absolutely. 1972, reached number one in the Billboard Hot 100, sold over 1 million copies, which is what gives it a gold disc in the States. But it only hit silver in the UK with 200,000 sales. Covered in 93 for the Cool Runnings soundtrack by Jimmy Cliff. Yeah. Johnny Nash, this blew me away, by the way, was not Jamaican. He was born in Texas and is the first non-Caribbean act to record in Kingston, Jamaica. Not Kingston upon Thames. Never get those two mixed up. It never ends up. I'm a yardie from Kingston upon Thames.
Every time I hear about Kingston, I think about my memory stick now. Mine with the Bob Marley.
I always think of white phone boxes. Kingston Communications in Hull. Now that's a reference for nobody.
For the people of Hull.
The people of Hull. Yeah,
we might not be perfect, but at least we're no Leeds. Is that known? The welcome to Hull?
That's right. Yeah, it's the M62, the highway to hell. I mean Hull. Yeah, absolutely. So John Cusack is Martin Blank, hence the name of the film.
Yeah.
He's setting up for this job. His job is he's a hitman. Sorry, no, he's a professional killer.
Yes, that's exactly what he says to everybody.
Great line. Every time he does it, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, he's washing his eye out, isn't he? What is that?
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, what was that about?
So I was looking this up. You can actually buy an eye bath. You can get 300 mils from Boots for $5.99, and
Right.
basically it's just literally as it says on the tin. It's just in case you're in a dry environment and stuff. You actually just put that to your eye, open your eye, and just bathe your eye. It's a thing.
All right. Wow, that's fucking weird.
I don't like anything. I don't think anything in my eyeball. So
No, I don't either. I can't. The idea of contact lenses just makes me a bit sick. If I'm entirely honest with you.
yeah, touching your eyes. No,
Yeah,
no,
no, it's not for me, mate. So he's getting prepped for shooting. He's got his secretary on the phone. It's Sister Joan.
Yeah.
There's
A few members. There's a couple of members of his family in this, isn't there?
Oh, right. Well spotted, because I only spotted Joan, but as I always do. I can't see her without, of course, thinking about Fantastic Addams Family.
Toys.
And Toy Story. Oh, Toys! I've forgotten Toys even exist.
Yeah, she was the robotic sister. Crazy,
She was the robotics. Jesus, I think I've maybe seen that film as many as 5 times as a kid.
Wow, really? I loved it.
It's one of those I think that I'd recorded off Sky when we first got Sky, and I watched it over and over. Why? Why did I watch that over and over again? He's this guy on a bike, pulls a gun on these mobsters. I mean, they look like proper extras out of Goodfellas, didn't they?
Yeah, they were proper guns, weren't they?
Yeah, they really were. He shoots him before they can be shot, or this main guy can be shot, and they unload clip after clip after clip on this I don't know, corpse on a bike, really, isn't it, at this point?
Yeah.
He goes flying over this car bonnet, which I always like a stunt. It should be more stuntmen in film. And then the doorman appears and executes them all.
Yeah, just standing there, blasting away.
Yeah. This guy is a character called Grosse, played by whom?
It's Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
And favourite, yeah. He's good in this.
Yeah, you lot don't need us to tell you where we know Dan Aykroyd from. But did you know he's made money out of founding those House of Blues music venues in the States? Really? Yeah, and is currently hawking Crystal Head vodka, which you can buy a bottle, which looks exactly as you'd expect it to, John. 48 quid on Amazon for a 70 centilitre bottle. Do us a favour, listeners, if you are going to buy one, please shop anywhere else for your alcoholic skull bottles. Anywhere at all. We don't mind.
Get yourself down to Costco.
Yeah, absolutely. So later they meet up at this bit of wasteland. Grosse is setting up a union. It's more of a club. To make sure they don't get mixed up on jobs.
Yeah.
Grosse mentions that he sold tanks to Central America. These T-34 tanks. And he says, I took a bath on those. T-34 tanks. Now, considering he must have sold these T-34 tanks in the last 10 years, right? So 86 to 96, considering how long, this guy's been away from school.
Yeah.
But probably more likely in the last couple of years, in the mid-90s. Soviet built since 1940. They stopped building them in 1958, would you believe?
What?
Yeah. Countries that still have them. I'll give you an extra point if you can guess a country in the world that still uses these tanks.
Yugoslavia.
It's not even a country anymore, John.
I just covered all that whole bit of the map.
Well, technically, you could have been right there, actually, because Bosnia is one of them. But I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you that.
Boo.
The Republic of Congo just in case, listeners, you're not sure, that's the Democratic one. You tend to know that because it doesn't have Democratic in the title. If a country has Democratic in the title, it is mostly undemocratic.
Yeah, if they need to emphasise it.
China, North Korea. Yeah, exactly. On that subject, North Korea as well. The Yemen, Vietnam, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Namibia, and Cuba. Of course, Cuba.
Nice.
Yeah, if you want to learn more about Cuba, tune into our current episode of Everything We Learned from The Simpsons, where we get to go to Cuba with Homer Simpson, which is just as much fun as it sounds.
They must be reliable tanks then if people are still using them.
Well, they're being used in Cuba. I can assure you they are still using cars from the 50s.
So, really? Well, I was listening to some of the conversation that he was having with his secretary about the ammo. Did you hear about the ammo that they were using?
Go for it.
So, one of them picked up on she was asking for steel core ammo. So steel core pistol ammo is illegal because it's harder steel and it doesn't deform on contact. If you shoot Kevlar with it, it will pierce it, so it's classed as armor-piercing ammunition.
Right.
But she also said something about soft point bullets.
Yeah.
So soft point bullets are primarily used for hunting, with the deformation of the nose creating a lower expansion and greater penetration. I know, as soon as I said penetration, I thought he was going to laugh. But I didn't know that. I didn't realise there was a difference between the tensile strength of the metal.
Okay, yeah, I've got you. Yeah, she there's a little bit later on, which I might as well do while we're talking about bullets. She mentions she's shouting 9mm subsonic rounds. Subsonic ammunition is ammunition designed to operate below the speed of sound, which means it's less than Mach 0.80, and it avoids supersonic shockwave or crack of a supersonic bullet, which influences the loudness of the shot. So if you're shooting with a silencer, that's it. If you don't want to get caught, that's what you want to use.
That's it.
Perfect for assassinations, I would assume.
Happy times.
Absolutely. Grosse says it's a concern that I want. We've got ex-Stasi, we've got those butch Filipinos, and I'm like, okay, yeah, great. It's a really uncomfortable conversation, and like they're watching each other the whole time, aren't they? And kind of always within like
they're always about to put their hand in their pocket to try and get their gun. Yeah,
it's good. He buggers off, and a new job comes in through the Carfax. Did you love this Carfax or what?
I've seen it. Oh, Jesus.
Now, this is something that I lost a lot of time on this morning, the Carfax. I couldn't find a particular type of a model or anything like that. It's basically lost to history in the internet. But the Toyota Century, if you bought a Toyota Century, had an option which replaced the glove box space with an in-car fax. But that is all I could find.
That is crazy madness, isn't it?
It is stupid, isn't it?
That's such a weird thing to have in your car.
Yeah. He turns down... Oh, he's going to go to Miami, but he turns down a job of blowing up a Greenpeace boat, which comes in on the Carfax.
Because he's got morals.
Yeah, absolutely. Greenpeace have 4 ships. Rainbow Warrior, Arctic Sunrise, Esperanza, and Witness. He's in Miami doing this job. He drops his camera through the vent into this sleeping man and drips poison down this string. And just as it's about to do, it falls on his face and wakes him up. I mean, this guy's a really light sleeper.
Oh, yeah. As soon as it touched his face, he was up.
Yeah, so he jumps downstairs with the gun and blows him away. He says, no, it's not me. He says, whatever I'm doing, I'll stop. No, it's not me. It's not me. And just blows him away. So he's basically failed twice here. Yeah. And as we go on through the film, he's really bad at this. How has he managed, let's say, a 5-year career? Let's say he was in the army for 4 years.
5 years, yeah.
How has he managed a 5-year career of doing this? Because he doesn't do anything right the whole time. But I think it's down to his mental state, isn't it?
Yeah, because you can't get it right. He's maybe a professional.
So they're very unhappy. And he's got one last job that he can do. He's meant to make it look like he died in his sleep. And it just so happens it's where his reunion is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's the secretary's reading out the yearbook stuff, isn't she?
She is, yeah. She's reading out the kind of the invite to the... And you're kind of like, oh my God, that sounds awful. Did you ever go to one of your reunions, John?
So no, I didn't. So there are a couple of things I was reading about these things. The American one's different from ours because what they do is it's every 5 to 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
So every 5 to 10 years they go there, but some people take their yearbook. So the yearbook is basically just an annual a record of what they've done, their highlights, stuff like that. So they take it with them so they can actually compare and just see. Because a lot of them write comments thinking, "Oh, you're going to be the funniest person, or you're the hardest worker." So, but we don't have anything like that.
No.
They
might do now. They might do now.
Oh, they might do now, but
yeah,
no back then. But even then, I was reading up on it as well. But apparently, the tradition is dying out in the USA because of social media.
That makes sense.
People if you leave school, the first thing you do is you add your friends on Facebook. So if you've got them there all the time, what's the point in meeting up?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, and to be honest, if you hate them, then like I probably did, then why would you bother? Yeah, exactly. He's talking to his psychiatrist on his couch, as we've discussed already, the wonderful Alan Arkin. Yeah. He's not his doctor because he's afraid of him. He doesn't like what he does, but he keeps coming back, and he's too afraid to not kind of listen.
Yeah, but he loves him because he's writing. Didn't he say something about he'd written a couple of books?
Yeah, and he said, I ghostwrite them.
I was ghostwriting them. So I was looking at that, just looking at ghostwriters, but ghostwriters, as it says in the tin, freelance writers who pen text and credit to somebody else, which is weird. But what I did look at is the sheer amount of money that therapists get. Now, bear in mind, every time you watch an American film, it seems like everybody in their dog's got a therapist. Mm-hmm. But generally, the prices range from $65 to $250 an hour.
Wow.
Just to help the therapist. I'm thinking, my God, that's a lot of work they've got, because there's a lot of people with therapy. Even therapists have got therapists over there. So if I was going to pick any sort of career over there, it definitely was kind of some sort of therapy.
Yeah, and now we move to an advert for our sponsor this week, BetterHelp. We're not sponsored by BetterHelp. That we were would be good. But yeah, it's an expensive job, and this he's not getting his money worth here, is he? At all?
Yeah.
He says, I've been dreaming I'm the Duracell bunny. And he said, that's a terrible dream. It's a depressing dream. Mike Alan Arkin's pretty bad. I go home, drink some punch, meet up with the girl Debbie. I'm kind of like, okay, who's this girl Debbie? Duracell launched the Duracell bunny campaign in 1973.
Yep.
There's a lot more on the Duracell bunny and loads of court cases around it. It is very boring and very dry. I'm not getting into it.
This is the one that got me, right? So there was a couple of things about that scene. So one was when he was saying about the dreams about Debbie.
Yes.
I was looking into this. So, but dreaming about an ex could mean that you're looking for closure, according to somebody called Terry O'Birch. The Duracell bunny is 16 years older than the Energizer bunny, as you say, in 1973. But Energizer is the sole rights to sell rabbit embroidered batteries in the US. That's so weird, isn't it? That they're the only one.
Yeah, the US and Canada and Duracell has kind of the rest of the world wherever they sell them. I'm glad you managed to take that nugget out of there, because I found that was a very dry series of articles that I read.
Yeah,
there.
I
could have just got to sleep.
I persisted a wee bit longer and thought that bit. Oh, that's good.
Man. Grosse finds that he's lost this Detroit job to Blank, and he calls these feds who are seemingly after him. But he says, "Oh, I've got your pigeon." So obviously they're looking for someone to settle.
Yeah.
As Blank gets into town, he passes the radio station, and he passes Debbie. Which is Minnie Driver, Hubba.
Yeah, she looks good in this.
Yeah, she's one of ours. She's very young, though, very young indeed. She's the radio DJ, and she seems to have a real kind of hard-on for, like, two-tone and kind of, like, punk ska, doesn't she?
Yeah. Oh, no, she really does, yeah.
Really into that, and that's good. He pulls up at the school and sees his old teacher, Mrs. Canelta. She says, you did, you're Detroit's best disappearing act since White Flight. I kind of wish I hadn't learned about this, about White Flight. White Flight is a term for large-scale migration of white people from one area to another when an area becomes more racially or culturally diverse.
Right.
So fuck off, the lot of you. Get up in the mountains if that's your attitude. Yeah, and it's a term that's been popular in America since kind of the 50s.
Right.
When areas started to become a little bit more ethnic, let's say, ethnically diverse. So I kind of wasn't into that. I'm just not great. He says, I went west like the Donner Party. Man, I love the story of the Donner Party. I got a big kick out of this story. The Donner Party was a group of American pioneers who migrated to California in a wagon train from the Midwest. They were so delayed, they spent the winter 1846 to 1847 snowbound in the Sierra Nevada mountain range, like the beer. Some of the migrants resorted to cannibalism to survive, eating the bodies of those who had succumbed to starvation, sickness, and extreme cold. Go on, the Donner Party.
Jesus.
Yeah. No thanks to the wagon train. We are still alive.
That's grim.
So so they did eventually make it, but they had a taste for flesh.
I was going to say, it's not for a wee cheeky bit of ham. Yeah.
He says, are you still teaching Ethan Throme? Ethan Throme is a 1911 book by American author Edith Wharton. And they're basically having this kind of, he says, you have this Mary Tyler Moore kind of thing going on. He's flirting with her, but I'm kind of like,
I know.
Okay. That's weird. Stop that. Just stop that. He heads off home. He gets home, but home isn't there. What's there instead?
It's an Ultimate, which I tried to Google. It turns out it's actually no a shop. It's an insurance broker.
Oh, right. Okay. Fantastic. Brilliant. He gets in. He's listening to Guns N' Roses' "Live and Let Die," which of course is a cover of the Wings number "Live and Let Die."
Doom 2 at the background. Did you see that?
2. I did. I was like, Jesus, I didn't know Doom 2 was released as an arcade game.
Yeah, I stupidly, when I was younger, I bought Doom, is it Eternal? Or had Doom Eternal. But it turns out that's a soft reboot of Doom 2.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Doom 2 wasn't released in arcades.
Yes.
It's just on this. Doom 2, however, was released in 1994.
And Macintosh in 1995.
All right, okay. Macintosh, remember those. He walks into this convenience store, and the music changes the instant he gets in. It's like a Muzak version, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's like a lift. Like elevator music.
Written specifically for this film, that piece of that arrangement. Yeah, it was really good. He's raging, isn't he? He's asking questions to the guy behind the counter who looks just like Randall in Clerks.
It does, doesn't
he? He's like, who are you? How long have you been here? Where's your manager?
Where do you live?
Yeah. He calls the doctor, and who doesn't answer, and he leaves a voicemail. And this line's great. He says, "So it turns out you can never go home, but you can shop there," which I thought was great.
That was good.
Yeah, please knock down my childhood home so I can say that.
Yeah.
These feds that are following them, I didn't recognise the black guy, but I did, of course, recognise Hank Azaria.
Oh, of course you
did.
did.
Baby Hank Azaria.
Yeah. Oh, he's man of many talents, that guy. Man of many talents.
He visits his mum in the hospital. It turns out he's been sending money home, but obviously with her not being particularly well, they've lost the house. She forgets him right away. Mm-hmm. He goes to see his dad. His dad is just a grave, basically. He's there for seconds. He opens his bottle of Glenlivet, proper single malt, 8 years.
Yeah.
On this Glenlivet, and pours it onto the grave and buggers off.
Yeah. Which either really loved him or really hated him.
I think it's the opposite. I don't think he liked him too much. Just while we're talking about where he is. Grosse Point is in Michigan, and it's on the banks of Lake St. Clair, which is actually not one of the official Great Lakes. There's 5 Great Lakes. This is often called the 6th Great Lake. There's been a number of attempts to have it recognised, none of which have been made official. There are 5 Grosse Points that make up the city: Grosse Point Park, Grosse Point City, Grosse Point Farms, Grosse Point Woods, and Grosse Point Shores. Now stop saying Grosse Point.
Well, I honed in on is it the Ambassador Bridge?
All right, yeah, go for it.
That's I didn't even know that was a thing, but the Ambassador Bridge is a tolled international suspension bridge across the Detroit River. It connects Detroit, Michigan, United States with Windsor, Ontario, Canada. So it connects the United
Countries.
States and Canada. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a massive, massive structure. But they're looking to. I was reading up on it. They're looking to replace it. I don't know whether it's because a steel that's in it, but they're
going to build a wall.
Yeah, do it. But yeah, it was massive, wasn't it? It's quite a cool.
Yeah, it's huge. $5 US to cross, or $6.25 Canadian cents.
Right.
if you want to travel across that, just adding those on. That's great stuff. Back to the film. Next day, he goes to see Di. I keep calling her Di. She's not called Di. She's called Debbie. For some reason, I've written Di here. They kiss. 10 years ago, he stood her up on prom. She was wearing a
$700 dress, wasn't she?
She was wearing a $700 prom dress, John. Yeah.
Did you look up any prom dress facts?
I didn't. Did you?
Yes, it did.
Tell me. Tell us all.
So I was just Googling it, a price range between them, but it says here on the average, the prom dress ranges from $100 to $600. So I think I was sitting in a $700 dress was gone overboard.
Yeah, well, Daddy's got a few bob, hasn't he? He's not sure. Like yeah, $700 US in today's money is $1,243 US dollars. That is an increase of 77%.
Jesus,
and that's crazy inflation, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is obscene inflation.
Proper great. And did you notice on Facebook Marketplace they sell a lot of these prom dresses because as soon as they wear them, they stick them straight up for sale.
I had not seen that.
Maybe it's just my algorithm, but I just can't get girls in prom dresses. I need to sort my life out, man.
Hang on, it's just the cops here for John. You're all right.
Don't even get me started on Snapchat.
No, we've already been told you're not allowed to be started on Snapchat.
Yeah.
You're not allowed within 50 metres of Snapchat. I don't know. She admits on the air that she's confused by the feelings. And he leaves and then kind of comes back in because they've got this really weird speaker system outside of the thing as well.
Yeah, so you can actually hear the show.
What's going on, which I think is probably only set up just for that one particular part of the film.
Yeah.
She waited in this prom dress and he didn't show, so she asked the people what should he do? What should she do? Nathaniel rings up, make him wear that prom dress.
That was good.
Which is good. And then Hank Azaria calls up from across the road. Tell her why you're really in town, tough guy. Which doesn't make any sense.
There's no yellow ribbons or something like that.
There's no yellow ribbon, which of course is tie a yellow ribbon. The song, which is what you do when somebody returns from. I always assumed that was supposed to be from war, but I think it can also be prison, unless you're in the green grass of home. He's walking away, and as he's leaving, he clocks the feds and this weird Eurotrash-looking guy who looks like his face has been moulded on something.
Yeah, I thought it was a prosthetic at first.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, he's just a really unattractive man.
Turns out it's his real face, but he's
turns out he's a Spaniard.
he's a stunt coordinator. He's done a lot. He's done a lot of things like kickbox and all that sort of thing. So he's done a lot of martial arts movies.
Oh right, okay, that explains what happens a little bit later on.
Yeah, and his face.
He keeps walking and he sees this guy, Paul, who's a friend from school. Jeremy Piven.
Yeah. The only thing I really remember him from, is he in Entourage? Is that a thing?
He is in Entourage, and I've never seen a frame of it. Is that not the story of Donnie Wahlberg? Is the main character in that meant to be Donnie Wahlberg in real life?
It is, totally.
Yeah, but I don't know if in the end of the series he ends up marrying an anti-vaxxer. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know what happens with him. But yeah, I'm sure that's what that's about. But I've never had any intention of watching a set. It just is not for me. So Paul, his friend from school's in real estate. They meet this couple at this open house. By the way, right?
Wow.
Who could afford this house today?
Wow.
Nobody.
That was,
I mean, with its faux Tudor kind of thing.
Its own police security, which is
this guy. He's like, "Oh, you're the police. Can you use lethal force? No, not really.
When can you?"
Yeah.
So I was checking home security in America,
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of blew my mind a wee bit. So, out of 127.59 million households in the United States, only 36 million have home security. So that's 30% of homes in the US have any sort of security.
Wow.
Unexpected. I was expecting a lot more, considering every time you watch a film or hear about America, it's like they like just to protect their own.
It's like the fucking first purge.
Exactly. It's like, so I thought that would be the first thing in mind, but no, only 30% have some sort of home security.
That does surprise me. 100%.
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of places that are in the middle of nowhere. I guess those places don't.
Yeah, or either that or they do it themselves.
Yeah, out in a rocking chair out on the front.
Exactly, or a wee bit of fishing line across the front door with the shotgun at the other side.
Some micro machines in the hall. A couple of paint cans on the stairs.
An iron ready to come down the chute.
Really hot doorknob.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, absolutely. They drive past Debbie's. Oh, so it turns out, look, what I figured out from this was everybody stayed in town. Like, he's the only person that left town, is how it seems to me. They drive past Debbie's house. And it's brilliant. He says, "That's Debbie's house." It creeps up on you, doesn't it? He's like, "No, you drove us here."
Yes. And his Beamer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that he bought from everybody bought cars from the same guy. Nobody drives American in this town, which I would assume nobody drives American anymore. I don't think so.
No.
He admits he's a professional killer. Is it an open market? He says, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And again, it's another instance of people just going, "Yeah, okay, fine."
Can I join?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Martin calls his secretary. What's his secretary called, by the way? I don't think I made a note to say. I'm sure she has a name. But yeah, he calls her. She's brilliant at multitasking. She's screaming about these bullets, which we've talked about already. And then she's talking soup with family. It's like, it's just a base. It's just a base to the soup.
Yeah, she has two conversations, didn't she? One is like talking about soup, and the next minute she's shouting at the arms dealer.
Yeah. In the superstore, the kids playing the Doom 2 arcade game with the headphones on, listening to the Ace of Spades by Motorhead.
Ding, ding.
Classic bit of music.
Oh, the secretary's called Marcella.
Marcella, of course it is. I think he maybe only uses her name once. Eurotrash guy comes in, and there's this running gun battle. It's fantastic. And the kid's still playing the game. He's missing the whole thing. It's brilliant, kind of like John Woo jumping sideways with guns and things. Yeah. He runs out, and as Martin sees that he'd put some Semtex in, some C4 in the microwave.
He stuck some pins in putty and stuck it in the microwave.
Martin saves the kid as the place blows up. A lovely, proper explosion, which is great. It's good to see. He says,
"You land on the grass. They're getting hit with empty cartons of milk and stuff."
Yeah, toilet roll. "Are you okay?" "I'm not okay. I'm hurt. I'm pissed, and I need to find a new job."
And then just walks away.
Yeah, he's like walking away, mumbling to himself, which I thought was absolutely super.
Was instead of going, "You need to stay here and wait for the boss," he just buggered off.
Yeah. I've got written here Discover magazine at this very point, and I assume that at some point he picks up a Discover magazine. I can't think why else I would have that written there. But Discover magazine launched in 1980 and is a science and lifestyle magazine. Mm-hmm. You get a digital subscription now for $1.99 a month, and a print and digital version for $24.95 a year. Current stories include Ancient Humans Had Pets Too and 4 Crazy Facts to Know About Your Nose.
Only 4?
What a load of clickbaity shite, eh?
I know.
£25 a year for that. Okay, Gramps. Okay, Boomer. He's agreed to meet Debbie at this place, the Hippo Club. She says you need to have Shakabuku, which I was certain was an 80s band.
I thought it was a singer. I actually looked up and I thought, it's a singer, and it wasn't.
I think I mixed them up with Shaka Zulu. You remember them?
Yeah.
Shakabuku originates in the Chinese Chinese Buddhist texts. It's a real thing, and it translates as break of negative thoughts.
Shakabuku.
Shakabuku. Shaka Khan. Let me rock a Shakabuku. That's all I want to do. I'm going to stop that.
What's up with the stutter rap? There's nothing wrong with stutter rap.
So, Jesus, the stutter rap. Wow. That's a reference for nobody. Christ, I'm only just old enough to know what that is.
Chaka Khan. Chaka.
He asks her to the reunion. She says, "No chance. You're still in the you're still in a timeout box." This woman Amy turns up really drunk, so he makes his excuses to go to the bar. He goes into the toilet, and the feds are there.
Yep.
So he knows they're onto him, and Grosse is in the toilet, and he comes out as Blank leaves, and they're like, "Oh, he's coming back!" And he runs into the toilet.
That girl is John Cusack's sister.
Oh right, is that Anne Cusack? Is that
her name is Amy Cusack?
Amy Cusack. Wow.
Oh no, no, you're right, Anne. Sorry,
Anne
my
Cusack.
bad.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I know he's got a sister, Anne. I didn't know she was much of an actor, but then arguably he isn't either. So bit harsh, maybe, considering we like the film. This whole point, we learn here that they can't do anything to him until he goes through with this killing. So really everybody's holding on and waiting for this. They go to leave. He leans in for the winch and she refuses him. He calls Marcella and she gives him the heads up of the feds. They're from the NSA and they're looking for a patsy and they've been set up by Grosse. We also find out that the Eurotrash kind of horrible, weird... They call him a ghoul. Yeah. Is a Basque separatist. Now, Basque separatists are something that used to be big in the news. If you remember, when we were growing up, the Basque region is an autonomous community in northern Spain, and the Basque conflict ran for 52 years and only ended in 2011. Because I remember even in my 20s, there was bombings on TV news, which were always attributed to Basque separatists.
I always thought a Basque separatist was a guy that removed women's underwear. Basques, get a Basque off.
You'll just have to keep it on. I can't get it on. You'll have to keep it on.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen a good Basque.
Is that not one of those giant snakes with the big teeth? He explains he hasn't even looked at the job that he should have been doing. He hangs up and heads to see Debbie. She's staying at her parents' because her apartment got burnt down. Did you catch when it was burnt down, John?
Halloween. So it was like The Crow, wasn't it?
Devil's Night.
Devil's Night.
Wait, what?
No, that was a bit spooky, wasn't it?
This is weird. This is strange. Is this just something that happens?
This is facts within facts within a fact.
I know, yeah, exactly. Our very first episode, by the way, The Crow. Yeah, The Crow. Boy, we were different then. Boy, we had no idea what we were doing. And
I want to go back and re-edit that for an anniversary show.
we will re-record it when we get to 100 episodes. 100th episode, we'll do The Crowing.
Nice.
Yeah. So the whole thing here is right. He goes to the window and she opens up for him. But and I guess I wouldn't have known had it not been for the subtitles, because I was watching it with subtitles. It says in Jamaican accent, and she's like, "You can't come in."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Why? And then she's like, "You can come in," and then goes back to the American accent again. Like, I mean, is that okay? Are you allowed to do that? I mean, it was the 90s. You do whatever you fucking want.
I know. I was a bit weirded by that. That was weird.
You're very white. You should stop doing that. I'm not okay with that. I feel a little bit uncomfortable. Who wrote this? Oh yeah, John Cusack. She agrees to go to the reunion, but only if he does the airplane, which is this really weird thing where he lifts her up on his feet.
Used to do that with my sisters when I was younger.
Oh, did you? Right, okay.
Yeah. You can fly.
Yeah. What if your dad comes in? Oh well, he can have an airplane too.
Yeah,
that was really good. He says, "Oh, I could stay. We could watch Crossfire on TV, something romantic like that." Crossfire was a political debate show that ran from 1982 to 2008, and then had some kind of couple of little years post that. Two guests, one representing left and one representing the right of American politics. Doesn't sound very romantic, does it?
Nah, sounds like a bag of shit.
It does sound like a bag of shit, mate. It sounds like you're not really trying to do Newsnight. That's what it sounds like. He leaves, and the next morning he's getting breakfast. Grosse comes into the diner that he's getting breakfast for.
This is a good scene.
I liked this scene a lot. Now, the waitress comes over, and she says, "Oh, here's the specials we've got," and one of them was the alfalfa on my mind omelette, and I was like, "We already know what alfalfa is. We learnt 2 weeks ago when we talked about the Poseidon adventure."
Yeah.
Didn't we? So we couldn't even look at bloody alfalfa. And he says, "Oh, I'll have an egg white omelette, please. And what do you want in it? Nothing. Well, that's not technically an omelette. Let the man have what he wants, girl.
I don't want to get into semantics. I just want the protein.
I just want the protein. It's a good line.
But Grossman was sitting saying about how he should get onions and, is it cilantro?
Cilantro and onions for the blood, yeah.
Yeah, so I looked that up. Did you look it up as well?
I didn't, mate. No, I didn't.
Oh, did you not?
No, I've really dropped the ball this week, and you're picking it up. Good man.
So onions have anti-inflammatory properties that may help reduce high blood pressure and protect against blood clots. Cilantro, or coriander as we call it, is good for lowering bad cholesterol and increases the levels of good cholesterol. That just sounds like an absolute joke, doesn't it? It lowers the bad.
It gives you the good.
But it's very good for the digestive system. So
I need to get both of those in my diet, I think. Although my blood pressure's absolutely fine. I'm just overweight. I just love pies and pints. That's my problem.
Well, they're good for your mental health.
No, for sure, absolutely. And with my birthday coming up, it'll all be pies and pints, mate. I can assure you that. I can assure you of that. So
and basques
and basilisks. What? Your man Grosse orders 2 poached eggs, bran muffin, and 2 toast. Scrape off the watery stuff, and I kind of get that with poached eggs. And I was really disappointed he didn't order 2 fried chickens and a Coke like in Blues Brothers.
Yeah. That'd be plagiarism.
Yeah. Oh no, I've got that mixed up, haven't I? He orders 2 slices of dry white bread, dry white toast, and it's not Elwood. Belushi. Elwood orders those, and Belushi orders 2 chickens and a Coke. Well, every week we go on about this. The only way to fix it is just to cover it. We're just going to
do it. We'll do it.
Blank makes a run for the place before Grosse can shoot him. But one thing I had missed is Grosse has got these. He says, "Oh, what are those?" And he says, "Oh, they're herbal medicines or whatever." And Grosse says, "No, you should be on this instead. Durezak.
That's it.
Durezak. It's a brand name for fluoxetine. It's an antidepressant used for the treatment of bulimia, depression, neuroses, and obsessive-compulsive personality disorder. It's been passed in the States for use on treating children aged 8 and over with depression, which seems crazy to me."
What's it called?
It's called, well, his version was called Durezak, but it's a brand name of fluoxetine.
Right, okay.
It's used also for treating premature ejaculation. So happy birthday to you as well, John.
Yay! Christmas has come early, just like me.
But that absolutely blew away. And he says, we're only 2 years away from the government putting this in the water.
In the water, yeah.
And I was like, okay. So Blank makes the run, and Grosse can't shoot him. They make a lot of these weird noises. So he's doing like a kind of a honking kind of ape noise, isn't he?
Yeah.
And all the way through every single scene that there's kind of a fighting with Grosse, he's going popcorn. You know, like I'm like, what is? And I could not figure for the life of me what that was. I initially thought it was, the bub 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 bub. You know, that was
that
popcorn.
was that.
But no, it wasn't that. You just go, popcorn. Listeners, if you have any idea what the fuck that was about.
That was a bit weird at the end, wasn't it? When he was trying to walk out and he started doing that.
Yeah, he does it all, doing it all the time. You're like, and his song at the end I quite liked. Anyway, by the by, we will get to that. He calls Oatman. Oatman tells him to concentrate on breathing for 20 minutes and don't kill anyone, which I thought was great. He's late for picking up Debbie, and he finally leaves after talking to himself at the window. And if you don't get on with me, I'll just kill you, which I thought was good. And we kind of go back to the hotel room, the guest house that he's in, and there's another person there. There's a hand which sees the invite and sees the phone ringing, and then he turns up. She sends him in to see her dad.
Yeah,
and I liked him. I liked him very much. He says, "Oh, do you want a drink?" He says, "No." He says, "Oh, good to see you. It looks like I lost my bet. I thought it would be after the millennium." So he was only 3 years out.
Aye.
Yeah, it'd be shit on Popmaster though. He says, "Oh, I'm a professional killer." Yeah, good for you. It's a growth industry.
He really does, doesn't he?
Everybody's cool with this. Everybody's cool with this.
It's a dental. Can I join?
Yeah, absolutely. He says, "Oh, stay for a drink." No, he says, "I can't stay for a drink. I've got to. I've got to go. We're late." Fantastic. So they get to the party. They get to the thing, and the piece of music that's playing at this point, John. Did you know it?
No.
It was "We Care a Lot" by Faith No More, which I'm a big fan of. And it's a great piece of music. I assume you know it or you've heard it before. Yeah.
I didn't know the name of it, but now as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh God, we care a lot. 'Cause that's all they ever say.
Yeah, that is almost all the way through. But unfortunately for you, John, they do say more, and I've got a little quiz for you on what they do care a lot about.
God.
So it's just they either care a lot or they don't give a fuck. You tell me. Number one, do they care a lot about killer bees?
Yes.
They do. They care a lot about killer bees. Number two, do they care a lot about the SFPD?
No.
I'm afraid they do care about
what? San Francisco Police Department?
Yeah, they care about the NY and the SFPD. Yeah. Number three, do they care about masked crusaders?
No.
They do not care about masked crusaders working overtime, fighting crime, possibly. I don't know, but they do care about the Transformers. Is what they care. Is the Mattel toy that they care about?
Who doesn't?
Indeed, yeah. Because there's more than meets the eye. Is the lyric. Number four, do they care about the Garbage Pail Kids?
Yes.
They do care about the Garbage Pail Kids. They never lie, which I don't really understand that. And number five, do they care about Just Say No?
No.
They do not care about Just Say No.
You just told me to say no. There was any question.
It was Roland that cared about Just Say No. Roland! A big Grange Hill reference there for nobody.
Was it Ziggy? Ziggy, wasn't it?
Ziggy, yeah. Danny, what was he called that got addicted to heroin or whatever? Got killed, died and thing, yeah.
Daniela Westbrook.
Yeah, Daniela Westbrook in Grange Hill. This has got really niche. This is why we're popular in Britain and nowhere else.
Pretty much, yeah. People like Green Shell.
Americans have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. So, Green Shell?
Green Shell.
Oh, right, okay. So, this guy that's a lawyer offers him a business card. He says, "Oh, hang on a second. No, actually, I'll give you one of these. The lid's got my details on." And John... I'm not lying. I'll be able to show you. Listeners, unfortunately, you won't be able to see. But, John, I am currently writing with my own personal... You won't be able to see that on that camera, I'm sure. Yeah, so that's important. We'll come back to that pen later.
Yeah. As soon as I get them, I thought that was going to come back.
If you wanted 250 of these pens, John, today, with that company name on that we shall not mention, or potentially with the podcast name on, it's not a bad idea. They'll cost you a tenner for 250 pence.
Well, that's good.
It's not plus VAT, so we'll figure that shit out and not order those because that's. I mean, who uses pens?
Cool.
Remember pens? Dharma from Dharma and Greg's in this film, very, very briefly, isn't she?
Yeah.
Jenna Elfman? Yeah, she's very, very briefly in this film.
Yeah.
And she's got the neck brace on and all that kind of piece, hasn't she? That's John Cusack in 16 Candles wore one of those.
Oh, God, yeah?
Yeah, 16 Candles is a good film. 16 Candles makes me cry. It does. 16 Candles does honestly make me sob.
Bill Cusack might have been in this bit. So Bill Cusack, his brother, John Cusack's brother, was a waiter. But I can't remember if he was a waiter in the bar that we're in or he's one of the waiters.
He's one of the guys like behind the... Yeah. Okay.
It's a family affair.
Indeed it is.
Grosse Point nepotism.
That is Hollywood. It's just what happens. She died for a moment, this character. She crashed a car on some ice and died for a moment. Everyone in this scene's really falling apart, aren't they?
Yeah, their lives are a mess.
I think the whole thing is that Blank's meant to be the most together, strangely. Like, you start the film thinking he's the least together, and actually turns out he's the most together. He sees this character, Tracy, and her baby. This baby, by the way, was so cute.
It's so sweet, wasn't it?
These big eyes. Oh, fantastic. That baby will be 24 now, John.
Jesus. God.
Do you feel old yet?
Is he filing a case against Nirvana for taking the pictures?
Damn, son. There's been a murder. Excellent work, yeah. He holds the baby, and this epiphany of staring contest, basically, to Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie.
Yeah.
Big fan of this number. Really like this particular.
There's a lot of good songs in this prom. So is this music that they have, like, so when they leave, is it the music that was there when they leave?
Yes and no, because Under Pressure's 1981 song.
Okay.
Yeah, in Canada and the Netherlands and the UK, it got to number 1. It's covered in 2005 by My Chemical Romance and The Used. I don't know either. And barely charted in the US at 48. And in 2018, it was covered by Shawn Mendes featuring Teddy. Now, I don't know if it's Teddy Sheringham, Teddy Ruxpin, or that bear from AI. I wasn't sure. Oh, that makes me cry as well.
Oh, don't.
Oh, man, that rips me apart, that film. Jesus Christ. I think it's because no one loves me.
No, that's not true. That's not true. So I was looking at music from my leaving.
Leaving. What year did you leave?
So I was 1991.
Right, okay.
So there's a lot of amazing music. There's KLF, there's all sorts going on. But my top 3 I've picked REM, Losing My Religion, Nirvana,
right,
like Team Spirit.
Wow.
And this is I felt as if I listened to this all the time. The Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go?
All right, yeah. Well, that was a re-release. I remember that. I remember that coming out. Was that Bohemian Rhapsody year as well? Then, because I think that was Christmas number 1.
Yeah. Bohemian Rhapsody was 1991 as well. So there was a lot of cracking music.
I did the same, mate, but I did it slightly differently. I looked at the top 3 biggest selling singles, and I wouldn't dance to any. Well, you can't dance to any of these 3. So I left in 96. Right. Two of these were released after I left school, because I remember Killing Me Softly by the Fugees, one time, was like the summer. That was Euro 96 that came out. Right. Wannabe by the Spice Girls. God, I think I finished my exams by the time that came out. I hate that. Spaceman by Babylon Zoo.
Oh, Jesus. The best intro ever, and then it just turns into a piece of shit, doesn't it?
It's brutal. But I did have a look at let's have a look at what you could have won. Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. Oh, yeah. Children by Robert Miles.
Oh, R.I.P.
Is he dead?
He died. Yeah. That was an anthem, man. I loved it.
What about his children? Are they orphans now? Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis was a belter.
Yeah, it was a belter.
5-star of The Prodigy.
Jesus, that whole album was amazing.
Absolute personal favourite dance tune of all time. Born Slippy by Underworld.
That is a tune.
It's an absolute banger. I did also miss off Insomnia by Faithless, which is also a banger.
Oh, it's awesome, but Born Slippy.
I'm gonna go downstairs after this, and I'm gonna put the old Google Home speaker on as loud as it'll go. It's a Thursday night. It's 9 o'clock, and I'm putting on some bangers from 30 years ago.
All good tunes, man. Fugees as well. Whatever happened to Lauryn Hill? That's a shame.
That Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is an absolute stonking album. Do the kids still say stonking? Listeners, please tell us. Please tell us if they still say stonking.
Well, funny you should say that. Hale and Pace had a song out in 1991.
I seem to remember they had a couple. Yeah.
So it was called the Stonk
doing the Stonk or something. Yeah, that does ring a bell. Jesus Christ. Thanks, John. I've just forgotten how to tie my shoelaces.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, just forgotten how to tie my shoelaces. Thanks to you. I've forgotten how to drive. Not that I knew anyway.
Welcome.
But the kid's cute. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point I want to make there. The kid is very, very cute. We briefly meet Bob Desposito. Is that that song? Desposito. He's a car dealer and a massive wanker.
Oh, he really is. He's got issues.
With a 90s tash. Yeah. Do you want to do some blow?
And I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I don't know who you are. I'm drawing a blank.
Shit, Patter.
So he's shocking, Patter. So Debbie and Martin have a heart-to-heart. She says, "You aren't broken. You're a sprain that can be fixed." So they head to the nurse's office to make out. I'm like, that's
hey, don't sprain yourself.
Yeah, but here to the main entrance is the Eurotrash ghoul pretending to be this guy Sidney Feldman. Have you been abroad?
I'll catch a dance with you later. Yeah.
Debbie's going to say goodbye to her friends before they head away. They've agreed that they're going to just kind of go away. Bob appears and threatens to batter Martin. Martin puts him right in his place, doesn't he? I haven't thought of you for a second. And he said, I wrote a poem. He's like, skip to the end. I was like, oh, space reference. Although it's pre-spaced. He said, do you want to do some blow? Martin goes to his locker and this Eurotrash shows up and they have this fantastic kung fu fight.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Good.
Yeah.
Well done.
John Cusack's stunt double is brilliant in this scene because it is blatantly a man in a wig.
Oh, yeah,
It is not John Cusack at all. And what is even better at it is it just works really well. It seems to be choreographed to the beats mirror in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I've had so many chances to go and see the beat. And I've turned them down. I had a chance to go and see the beat at Larbert Town Hall, John.
Jesus.
Which is the shittiest venue in the world because I didn't want to pay 20 quid to sit in Larbert Town Hall.
Yeah.
Although it was probably about 500 yards from my house at the time. So the Beats were formed in Birmingham in 1978. Mm-hmm. They are known as the English Beat in the USA and Canada, as there's already a band called The Beat. And this song was released in 1980 and reached number 4 in the UK.
Ah, right.
It's a good song. It's a good number.
It's a cracking song.
Yeah, well into a bit of two-tone. Do love a bit of two-tone. Mm-hmm. He uses the pen and stabs the guy in the neck, doesn't he? Kills him.
Right in the throat.
Yeah, fantastic work. Paul turns up and helps him with the body.
She turns up.
She does. She sees that he murdered him and she runs off screaming. Like, she was okay with the fact he was a killer when she didn't think he really was. Paul helps him into the boiler room. I thought Freddie would be quite impressed. And there's a really good burning hand acting bit here where he puts his hand on the thing. And it's obviously meant to be hot, but it quite blatantly isn't. And he's like, motherfucker! Because he touches it twice. The second time it's good.
And Piven's all over it with his hands and doesn't even bother.
Exactly. Martin heads home. He calls Oatman's machine and fires him. I'm doing well without you. I don't need you. Debbie comes to the door. He explains it was him or me. He says, in the army, you grow to love it. She says, you're a psychopath. He's like, no, psychopaths do it for no reason. I do it for money. She's like, whoa. No, she's out. She's done. The next morning, he calls Marcella, and she's smashing up the PC. She's throwing this can of gas around.
She's loving life, isn't she? She's loving it.
She's got the fag on as well, which you're like, you would have blown yourself up, love.
But back in the days, they must have thought just hitting it with a hammer would destroy that hard drive.
That's
it's harder
right.
to do it than that.
Exactly right, yeah. He says, look, are we out of business yet? She says, I'm just taking the office down. Basically, says, look under the desk. This massive brick of money, isn't it?
Money. Lucky she didn't set the place on fire first.
Well, I was thinking that, yeah. He finally opens the papers, and it turns out that it's Debbie's dad that's the mark. Next scene, Debbie's dad's out jogging, and Grosse is going to shoot him. He's in this minivan, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just lining up the shot, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Then comes Martin flying on his Cadillac or Coupe de Ville or whatever they are.
Coupe de Ville, yeah, that's right. And grabs him and saves him. Keep down. He says, I've got a contract on you, but as I'm in love with your daughter, I have a newfound respect for life. And then Grosse is like, just because he's in love with his daughter, that punk has a newfound respect for life. Yes, there's a brilliant line. It works so well. He drives him home as the van chases them. Grosse has got goons in there, hired goons. He explains to Debbie as he's shooting these guys that he's ready to settle down. He takes him up to the bathroom with these guns, and he gives her this gun with it's basically a hand cannon with a sight on it.
With the laser sight. Yeah. It's like the one that Arnold Schwarzenegger gets at the beginning of Terminator.
It is, yeah. And he puts them in the bathroom. Anyway, he then opens the door again once he's shot a guy, and she goes, make this gun work. Which I know it's great fun. There's this John Woo style shootout in the kitchen. And then the feds turn up and they both blow them away.
Yeah.
And then they run out of bullets. They agree he says, "Oh, look, I'll throw you. I'll throw you a gun for 10 grand or something, isn't it?" Yeah. He says, "Okay."
Spot me.
Yeah. And as he kind of jumps out to give him the gun or to shoot him, he picks up this massive CRT TV and just smashes it over his head.
Yeah, because he goes popcorn in the next man.
Yeah, and you can see the body kind of like shaking. That TV isn't still plugged in. I'm not entirely sure that.
I looked this up. So apparently, because the amount of capacitors within the CRT, it can actually retain charges for months, but not enough to that. But it must account for it because he's blatantly. He's going like Shocker, isn't he? You couldn't do that with a telly today, though, could you? No.
You'd barely hurt somebody by putting
you'd brain them though, because they're flat as a pancake. So
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he heads to get Debbie and Dad. And he says, "Will you marry me?" Dad's like, "Well, you got my blessing," which is. I was like, "Okay, yeah, of course he has, yeah, fantastic." She shuts the door on him, and the next scene is them driving off into the sunset, and she's basically saying, "You've got to take a chance, you've got to get out there," and that's the movie, that's the film. No. I had a great time with it, John. I don't know about you.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Watching it again just brought it all back, and I realised how much I really enjoyed it. No, it's good, really good.
Absolutely the same. What else have you got for us?
So, a couple of things. So, at one point, he says when he's wanting to speak to Grossman, patch me in. I just looked up the term. Basically, it's because the original telephone switchboards were boards and literally had a patch cable.
That's right. Yeah. I used to train that when I was at NTL. I used to explain to people how it used to work.
Oh, really?
And then how a switch works now. So if you wanted to phone somebody from one landline to another landline, how the switches work. So it was all part of the kind of the training, because if a switch went down, you had to explain what the problem was to a customer. Right. Not that they ever fucking did.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
He spoke about the Danube.
Oh, what's the Danube?
So he says he's in Budapest.
Yes. And the Danube.
Yeah. They say I can see it on the.
Is that not a yogurt?
No, Danube. The Danube.
Yeah.
Is the second largest river in Europe after the Volga in Russia. It flows through most of Central and Southern Europe from the Black Forest to the Black Sea.
All right. Okay.
Other things I've got is because Grossman was informing on Martin, I was looking up the FBI's or their informants. It says that on an article it says that the FBI and other agencies paid informants $548 million in recent years, and many were towards committing authorised crimes. So they'd pay these people to do things to try and flush criminals out. So they paid them a hell of a lot of money. So $548 million is a lot of cash.
Yeah, sir, isn't it?
I seen a poster for a pep rally.
Yeah.
And pep rally is just a meeting aimed at inspiring and enthusing before a sporting event. I thought it was something else. I thought it was a way of raising money, but apparently not. It's just basically a meeting to sort of get people enthused. I
thought it was the stuff you took when you got indigestion. That's Pepto-Bismol, easily done.
Oh, that's abysmal. And club soda, which I thought was like the club's kind of soda. Turns out club soda is just carbonated water.
Yeah, that's it.
Infused with added minerals. Yeah, so that's me. Okay. That's me done.
Good, fantastic. Couple of other things. Right at the very beginning, Grosse mentions, here I am from Astral Projection, an out-of-body experience where the body travels via the astral plane, as seen in Doctor Strange films, and that Insidious film, which I assume you've seen.
Yeah.
It's not the house that's astral projecting, John. It's your son! A load of shit that is. Hate that.
Seen them all.
He mentions that he murdered the president of Paraguay with a fork. No president of Paraguay has ever been murdered with a fork.
He lied?
No. Why must films lie to us, John?
He acted at me?
He did act at you, I'm sorry. Cobo Hall is mentioned. Going to Cobo Hall. It's an exhibition centre now called Huntington Place, originally named after former mayor of Detroit, Albert Cobo. And the North American International Auto Show has been held at the centre every year since 1965, except for, last year.
Except for last year?
Because, obviously.
With the COVID.
Yeah, that's right. Finally, NHL goons. He mentions, somebody says something about being an NHL goon. And I was kind of like, I know that, because I know there's a film called Goon with Stifler.
Yeah,
have you seen that film?
No.
It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. I don't know about the second one, but it's definitely worth a watch. And an NHL goon is also known as an enforcer. It's an unofficial role in ice hockey. Basically, it's like the tough guy or the guy that will get into the fights.
The Vinnie Jones of...
pretty much, yeah.
Slams heads and doors.
Yeah. It's been emotional. That's me, Johnny Boy. How do you think we did?
72.
Higher.
82.
Higher.
92.
Higher.
102.
Higher.
What? 110?
105.
Jesus, mate.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. And do you know what? That's all on you, bud, because I missed quite a few things that I usually wouldn't miss. It's been a bit of a week.
You had 70 in your head, didn't you?
So, I did. I had in my head before we started. Yeah, that's what I thought we would.
I'm glad we did, because I like getting a lot out of good film.
Me too. Me too. And there's a lot of music stuff. There's a lot of nonsense. Okay. Look. Listeners, we really appreciate that you have upped your listening with us. We're having a great time, and apparently so are you. If you like what we do, tell your friends, give us a 5-star rating wherever you can. But most importantly, tell a friend or a family member or just somebody that you think will like this, that you think would like to listen to this, even if it's just one episode, because, I don't know, they might listen to 2 episodes, and that'd be really good for us. You'll get us on the Twitter at 100thingspod. You get us on Instagram and FaceyB at 100thingsfilm. We're also on TikTok, which we keep saying we're going to do more of, but we're meeting up in a couple of weeks. We'll do some drunken TikToks then. That'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
We'll share them out over the weeks.
Over the drunken weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. John, do you want to say something lovely to the lovely people at home in the cars? I don't know. Get it on.
Get it on. Big thanks to everybody. We're riding high in the charts, so life's good. No, it's all down to you guys, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for you. We're doing it for you guys, not just ourselves.
That's lies. We're doing it because we've got nothing better to do.
Roy didn't slip at the beginning there. They're doing this for ourselves. You just happen to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so again, we'll be back next week. Oh, John, we're back next week with an absolute belter from the 90s, aren't we?
God, yeah, Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. And we may or may not have a very special guest if he gets his arse in gear.
yeah, God, I'm looking forward to that one, actually. Yeah.
Can't wait. It's great episode, great guest. So we'll have some fun with that one.
Save your country.
Want to learn more? And listen next week. But for now, he's been John. I've been Mark, and we've been 105 things we've learned from Grosse Point Blank. See ya.
See you guys. Bye bye.